A big thank you to Mark for sharing with us from God's Word tonight. And of course, a huge thank you to you guys for joining us again for night 2 of our online holiday Bible club. We'll be back tomorrow night at 5 p.m. for night 3. And remember, just because we're saying goodbye doesn't mean that we're done. Once we say goodbye, stay tuned for tonight's craft that Shirlie's going to show us how to make. But good night from me. Before we go, let me just see if BeardMan has a message for you, because I'm actually on a video call with him here at the moment. Let me see if I can get him. Before we go, I just want to say what another fantastic night thinking about God's Word together. We'll see you tomorrow night to do it all over again. And don't forget the special mission, which begins at the end of the craft video. We'll see you tomorrow night.
For your craft today, you need the following things. Something to colour in with, felt tips, crayons, colouring pencils, or paint. You need a Pritt stick. We're going to need this to stick with, obviously, and we're also going to need it to draw around the top of the lid. You need a pencil, ruler, a pair of scissors, and a paper plate, and a piece of plain paper or card. Okay. Now I'm just going to move these things out of the way and we're going to get started. You might need some help with your scissors and cutting your plate, so if you do, please get an adult to help you. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut your plate in half, and you can do this by using a ruler to draw a line and follow the line across the plate. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this right across my line, and we are only going to use half of the plate, and you can put your other half to the side. This part of our plate is going to be Joseph's coat, so what you need to do then is colour in this coat of many colours, and I've got some ideas for you today. Just some lovely sort of triangles of colour. We've got a lovely stripy one here. And now, nobody said Joseph's coat was stripy, so you can use patterns here. This one I've coloured in with loads of circles. And this is what you're going to end up with. But this one I've done with some printed sticky tape. So it's up to you what you want to do. Once you have your plate all coloured in and all ready to go, we are going to make the body of Joseph. Okay, so it's going to look a little bit like this. You're going to have a circle on the top and a sort of triangle shape for his cloak. Okay, now take the top of your glue, your Pritt stick, and turn it upside down and draw around it, and that will give you a lovely circle. Okay. Then you want Joseph's body sort of to come down just about the same length as your plate, as his cloak. So put your cloak on your piece of paper, okay, and do a little mark at the bottom with your pencil. You're going to use your ruler to draw a line just at this mark, and then you are going to draw your cloak. So you want to draw like a triangular shape where it's thinner at Joseph's neck and just wider down at the bottom. Okay, and it can be as wide or as thin at the bottom as you want it to be. Now I'm going to colour it in on my sheet, and then I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so put a little colour here for Joseph's face, and the reason I'm colouring it in on the sheet is that I can colour it, look outside the lines, and I will cut it out and it'll be nice and neat. Now you may have noticed that on Joseph's cloak I have put a memory verse or a little verse just to remind us of today's lesson. Okay, and so I'm going to colour in his cloak. I'm just going to colour in a nice pale colour, again with my colouring pencils. And if you use the side of the pencil like that, it's nice and quick. And then I'm going to get a felt tip or a pen to write over the top of my cloak. And I'm going to write out the verse today that will help us to remember the story and the lessons from the story. Now, I'm going to write this on in felt tip. You don't have to write it on in felt tip. You can write it on a nice colouring pencil or your crayon as well. So we're going to write, as for you, you meant evil against me. Now this bottom part is very important. It's but God meant it for good. So I'm going to write that a little bit bigger and a little bit thicker. But God meant it for good, and I'm going to make my good nice and big. And I might go over it a couple of times like this to make it really stick out. Now that is only the part of the verse, so there's a little bit more to come. So we're not going to put a full stop there. We're going to do these 3 dots, and that tells us that there's actually more verse there that we need to go and have a little read at in the Bible. We find this in Genesis, okay, chapter 50, verse 29. It's good to write down our reference so we know where to find it in the Bible. We need to give Joseph a little face, and I'm just going to give him a little simple face of a couple of eyes and a little smile. And now I'm going to cut out Joseph. And I always find that cutting with a large piece of paper is really tricky, so I like to just cut a little bit off. I'm going to start with my straight lines first because they are easier to do. Okay, and slowly I go up to his head. Now the little circular head can be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to take it slowly. I'm going to twist my scissors and my page as I go, and that way it will help me cut out a circular shape. There we go. That's the tricky bit done. Now you can give Joseph hair, you can give him ears, whatever you want, but I've just decided to keep him nice and simple. Okay. And then I'm going to leave off the craft over there. Okay, so now can you see how Joseph's coat sticks out against his cloak? So, or against his tunic, I suppose maybe it's called. And so that's why you want to make his cloak or his coat really nice and bright and colourful. Okay, so I'm going to take my Pritt stick again. I'm just going to put a little bit of Pritt at the top and a little bit at the bottom. A wee stripe down the middle. You don't want to overdo it. And I'm going to pop Joseph on there with his brightly coloured tunic. Okay, now what you can do is, if you have a little lollipop stick, I don't have a little lollipop stick, but if you have a little lollipop stick, you could pop it in behind him like this, just for a pair of arms. So that is up to you. So when you look at our Josephs, we've got lots of different Josephs here for you. They can be whatever you want. This one doesn't have a verse. Okay, and this one is a bit faded again, but your Joseph doesn't have to look like my Joseph. Okay, there's loads of ideas to get you started, and I would love to see what you make. Have a lovely day and have a go at making our Joseph and his multicoloured coat craft.